Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India Live, India's voice to the world. I'm Tanvi Taneja, coming up in the next 30 minutes. Israel strikes Damascus as fighting rages in southern Syria. US envoy calls on all parties to step back after deadly clashes. UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer questions Tories over secret Afghan resettlement plan, welcomes further investigations over 2022 Afghan data leak. Indonesia clinches US trade deal, says Trump a tough negotiator. President Subianto welcomes new era deal with huge tariff cuts. And inflation haunts the UK, the US, trade tariffs, higher costs of fuel and services, food prices, air travel, train tickets being cited as major triggers. An Israeli airstrike struck near the presidential palace in Syria's capital Damascus on Wednesday as part of a series of massive attacks that also damaged the Syrian Defense Ministry. The escalation comes after Israel's Defense Minister, Israel Katz, warned the Syrian government to stay away from the Druze minority community following the recent clashes in the Druze majority city of Sweda. Turkey condemned Israel's strikes on Syrian army headquarters in Damascus. The foreign ministry in a statement said that Israel's attacks on Damascus constitute an act of sabotage against Syria's efforts to secure peace, stability and security. Meanwhile, the United States Special Envoy for Syria on Wednesday called on all parties to step back and engage in dialogue for a lasting ceasefire in Syria following clashes with Druze factions in the south and Israeli strikes in Damascus. Moving on now, US President Donald Trump said that the US would impose a 19% tariff on goods from Indonesia under a new agreement with the Southeast Asian country. Trump said in a post on his Truth Social platform that Indonesian goods entering the United States would face a 19% tariff. This is significantly below the 32% level Trump had threatened earlier.
So we made a deal with Indonesia. I spoke to their really great president, very popular, very strong, smart, and we made the deal. We have full access to Indonesia, everything. As you know, Indonesia is very strong on copper, but we have full access to everything. We will pay no tariffs. So they are giving us access into Indonesia, which we never had. That's probably the biggest part of the deal. And the other part is they are going to pay 19%, and we are going to pay nothing. I think it's a good deal for both parties. But we will have full access into Indonesia. And we have a couple of those deals that are going to be announced.
Under the deal, which was finalized after Trump spoke with Indonesian President Prabowo Subianto, goods that have been transshipped to avoid higher duties will face steeper levies. It also included a penalty rate for so-called transshipments of goods from China via Indonesia and a commitment to buy some US goods. Donald Trump also said Indonesia committed to buy $15 billion in US energy, $4.5 billion in American agricultural products, and 50 Boeing jets. Indonesia said on Wednesday that it had reached a trade deal with the United States after an extraordinary struggle in negotiations. Indonesian President Prabowo Subianto's spokesperson said that this is certainly progress and cannot be called a small success.
This is certainly progress that cannot be called small, nor can it be called a small success. This is an extraordinary struggle by our negotiating team. This is an extraordinary negotiation by our president directly with President Trump. This is a meeting point between our government and the US.
EU Trade Chief Maros Sefcovic will head to Washington, D.C. on Wednesday for tariff talks with his counterparts. During his visit, he will meet U.S. Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick and U.S. Trade Representative Jamieson Greer. U.S. President Donald Trump has threatened a 30% tariff on imports from the EU from August 1st if no agreement is reached. The European Commission, which oversees trade for the EU, has prepared to target 72 billion euros, equivalent to $83.63 billion worth of U.S. goods for possible tariffs if trade talks with Washington fail. On trade deal with Vietnam, Trump said that a trade agreement with Vietnam was nearly complete. Remaining in his character, Trump said that he could release details of the Vietnam trade agreement, but did not think it was necessary.
We have a Vietnam deal, and I would say that that deal is being pretty well set. It's pretty well set. Again, that's an opening of their country. They've opened it up. Just so you know, these were closed countries. They were wonderful people, wonderful leaders, very strong, smart leaders.
On the Russia-Ukraine conflict, U.S. President Donald Trump said that weapons are already being shipped to Ukraine, but he advised Kiev that it should not target Moscow. This statement came on Tuesday after Kremlin charged that a new U.S. plan to supply weapons to Kiev, along with sanctions threats against Russia, would delay peace efforts. While Trump on Monday had given Russia 50 days to strike a peace deal with Ukraine, voicing exasperation with Moscow and announcing that NATO members would supply Kiev with new military aid. He also added that he has not spoken to Russian President Vladimir Putin since the sanctions were announced.
NATO is going to pay us back for everything. In some cases, we're going to be paid back by countries of the European Union directly.
We started to see those
But we're always getting our money back in full. So we're not going to have any more investment to make. We're getting our money back in full. And if we can make a deal, that'd be great. We're saving 5,000 or 6,000 soldiers a week. They're Russian and they're Ukrainian soldiers. They're not American soldiers. And we won't have boots on the ground. But it's a shame.
Kremlin said that Western arms supplies to Ukraine remain a top priority on its radar. Kremlin spokesperson Dmitry Peskov stressed on Wednesday that the flow of weapons is a business, adding that certain European countries will ultimately bear the cost. Peskov also clarified that while no new phone call is currently planned between Vladimir Putin and Donald Trump, but such a conversation could be arranged swiftly if needed. Meanwhile, the European Union did not approve new Russia sanctions. It was announced by EU Foreign Policy Chief Kaja Kallas on Tuesday after a meeting with EU foreign ministers in Brussels. Slovakia has been blocking EU's latest sanctions package until its concerns are addressed over a separate EU proposal to phase out imports of Russian gas by January 1st, 2028. Though EU foreign ministers welcomed US President Donald Trump's announcement to send more weapons to Ukraine, Kaja Kallas said that ministers will discuss Russian frozen assets during an informal meeting at the end of August, as member states have very different views on the issue.
We welcome President Trump's announcement to send more weapons to Ukraine, although we would like to see US to share the burden. America and Europe are working together, and if we are working together, this can put the pressure on Putin to negotiate seriously. The only way to get Putin to end this war is to force his hand.
British Prime Minister Keir Starmer has called on former Conservative ministers to answer serious questions over the Afghan data leak, which exposed personal details of nearly 19,000 applicants to the Afghan relocation and assistance policy. The leak, caused by a defense official's error in February 2022, led to an operation to bring 16,000 Afghans to the UK and a super injunction banning media coverage to protect the applicants from the Taliban. Starmer criticised the Conservative government's handling of the policy, citing major failings and costly secret arrangements revealed by the Defence Secretary.
There's always been support across this House for the United Kingdom fulfilling our obligations to Afghans who served alongside British forces. We warned in opposition about Conservative management of this policy, and yesterday the Defence Secretary set out the full extent of the failings that we inherited. A major data breach, a super injunction, a secret route that has already cost hundreds of millions of pounds. Ministers who served under the party opposite have serious questions to answer about how this was ever allowed to happen. The chair of the Defence Committee has indicated that he intends to hold further inquiries. I welcome that and hope that those who were in office at the time will welcome that scrutiny.
Back to Asia. For the third consecutive day, bomb-laden drones targeted oil fields in Iraq's semi-autonomous Kurdistan region, halting production at two sites operated by Norway's DNO. The Tork and Peshkabir fields were hit, causing material damage but no injuries. Another field run by US-based Hunt Oil was also attacked. A separate drone strike on Tuesday shut down the Sarsang oil field just before its US operator signed a new deal with Baghdad. Initial investigations suggest Iran-backed militias may be behind the attacks. Let's now take a look at other stories making news across the world. An Istanbul court on Wednesday sentenced Istanbul former mayor Ekrem İmamoğlu, the main rival of Turkey's President Recep Tayyip Erdogan, to a fresh prison term, extending a crackdown on the opposition. İmamoğlu, who has been in jail pending trial since March over separate corruption charges, was sentenced to 1 year and 8 months in prison for insulting and threatening the chief Istanbul prosecutor. It's the second time İmamoğlu has been convicted of insulting public officials. İmamoğlu denied the charges. An $8 billion trial by Meta Platforms shareholders against Mark Zuckerberg and other current and former executives kicks off on Wednesday, alleging illegal data harvesting of Facebook users without their consent. The case began in 2018 following revelations that data from millions of Facebook users was accessed by a now defunct political consulting firm. British electric hypercar maker McMee Automotive showcased its Spearling at the Goodwood Festival of Speed, featuring the world's first car to drive upside down from a standstill using a unique downforce on-demand fan system. The single-seater generates 2,000 kilo of downforce, double its weight, allowing 0 to 60 miles per hour in under 1.5 seconds, and cornering forces over 3G, 3 times the force of gravity, more like a fighter jet than a race car. A volcano erupted on Wednesday in southwest Iceland, marking the 12th time in 4 years for a volcanic system near Reykjavik. According to local authorities, the eruption belched smoke and dramatic flows of glowing hot yellow and orange lava. People had been evacuated from Blue Lagoon, a luxury geothermal spa resort, and the nearby town of Grindavik. And South Africa's national bird, the blue crane, is now at a greater risk of extinction in the wild. The elegant birds have been uplisted from near threatened to vulnerable by the International Union for Conservation of Nature, or IUCN's Red List. Blue cranes breed and nest in open farmlands, but intensified agricultural practices are putting them under pressure. Conservationists believe that partnership with farmers is now more critical than ever. You're watching DD India Live, still to come on the show. India's Chief of Defence Staff, General Anil Chauhan, lauds India's indigenous drone capabilities, says can't win today's wars with yesterday's weapons. A rare oil painting of Mahatma Gandhi grabs an astounding £152,800, that's around 1.7 crore rupees, at an auction hosted by Bonhams in London. And sci-fi office drama Severance leads the race for 77th Emmy Awards. Batman villain spin-off series The Penguin, The White Lotus and The Studio also in top race.
This week on Defense Dynamics, we decode how mounted gun systems are powering India's artillery transformation. A detailed analysis of Astra, India's homegrown air-to-air missile that's now battle-ready. Prasar unveiled India sharpens its tactical edge. And a deep dive into India's military legacy, what makes it one of the world's most formidable defense forces. Stay tuned this Wednesday, 8 p.m. IST only on DD India.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India Live. I am Tanvi Taneja. In a significant push towards boosting agriculture and clean energy, India's Union Cabinet rolled out a series of decisions set to reshape the country's rural landscape and green energy capacity. The Cabinet approved the Prime Minister Dhan Krishi Yojana for a period of 6 years, starting from 2025-26 fiscal. The scheme is the first of its kind to focus exclusively on agriculture and allied sectors. It will cover 100 districts aimed at ramping up agricultural productivity and enhance credit availability for farmers. In the energy sector, the Cabinet cleared major investments of 20,000 crore rupees in NTPC Green Energy Limited, aiming to scale up green capacity and to achieve 60 gigawatt renewable energy capacity by 2032. Neyveli Lignite Corporation of India Limited, NLCIL, has received approval of investment of 7,000 crore rupees. This includes transferring renewable assets worth over 6,200 crore rupees and fresh investments in ongoing projects. The government targets 10 gigawatt of renewable capacity by 2030 under this. These decisions underline Indian government's twin thrust on empowering the farm sector and fast-tracking India's clean energy ambitions. Moving on, India's Chief of Defence Staff General Anil Chauhan praised the performance of Made in India drones and counter-drone systems of the military in Operation Sindoor. Speaking at a workshop and exhibition on indigenously designed UAVs and counter-unmanned aerial systems in New Delhi, Chief of Defence Staff General Anil Chauhan underlined the success of Operation Sindoor as a testimony of Atmanirbhar Bharat, or self-reliant India in defence. General Chauhan also stressed on the need for boosting innovation and startups in the sector.
In warfare, you cannot win with yesterday's weapon systems in today's warfare. In fact, today's warfare has to be fought with tomorrow's technology. Operation Sindoor has showed us as to why indigenously developed counter-US systems and counter-US systems built for our terrain and our needs are crucial. We cannot rely on imported niche technology that are crucial for our offensive and defensive missions. We must invent and build and safeguard ourselves. Dependence on foreign technologies weakens our preparedness, limits our ability to scale up production, results in shortfall of critical spares for sustenance and round-the-clock availability. Another important aspect of this capability is that foreign weapons and sensors, their capabilities are known to all, and adversaries can predict our tactics and doctrinal concepts based on the capabilities of this particular system. If you are developing systems which you own, their capabilities are not known to the enemy, and that may add an element of surprise when actually you are face-to-face in the initial encounters at least.
Union Minister of Textiles Giriraj Singh held a series of high-level meetings with major Japanese companies and inaugurated the 16th India Trend Fair 2025 in Tokyo. The minister also met with representatives from Itochu Corporation and was briefed on their plans on trading and investing in Indian textile sector. Giriraj Singh also held discussions with Juki Corporation and discussed potential for textile machinery collaboration. A rare oil painting of Mahatma Gandhi by British artist Claire Leighton fetched £152,800, equivalent to 1.7 crore rupees, at a Bonhams online auction in London. The portrait, believed to be the only one Gandhiji ever sat for, tripled its estimate. Leighton met Gandhi through political journalist Henry Noel Brailsford in 1931 when he was in London to attend the Second Roundtable Conference. Indian Council of Agricultural Research is celebrating its 97th Foundation Day on 16th of July. ICAR was established on this day in 1929 with the objective of conducting research in agriculture, animal husbandry, dairy, fisheries and related technologies. Watch our next report to know about ICAR's special achievements.
Indian Council of Agricultural Research is one of the largest national agricultural research systems in the world, with 113 ICAR institutes and 74 agricultural universities spread across the country. It has played a major role in the Green Revolution and subsequent developments in agriculture in India through its robust research and technological advancements, leading to manifold increase in food grain production, horticultural crops, fish and milk production in the country from 1950-51 to 2024. With technology and research in agriculture, India is the major exporter of rice in the world with production of 149.1 million tons of rice. India ranks first in milk production with 239.30 million tons and ranks second in the world in wheat and fish production. Over 400 improved varieties of seeds have been released in animal husbandry, responsible for conservation of various breeds of cows, has developed better breeds of Catla, Labio, Rohita in fisheries, established a strong network of Kisan Call Center, Kisan Mobile App and Krishi Vigyan Centers. For agriculture and research, ICAR exercises academic control of more than 75 agricultural universities in India. These universities offer degrees in fields like agriculture, horticulture, fisheries and more. ICAR, one of the largest national agricultural research organizations in the world, working in collaboration with international organizations like FAO, CJIAR, IRRI, Philippines, CIMMYT, Mexico. ICAR has collaborative agreements with 40+ countries of the world on agricultural technology, seed production and more. Focus on organic farming, linked farmers and grain markets with PM Kisan, e-Naam, promoting agri-startups, promoting smart farming research techniques using AI. While making India self-sufficient in food grain production, animal husbandry and fisheries, ICAR is not only a nation's pride, but has also become a symbol of India's scientific agricultural power at the global level. With inputs from Anuj Yadav, DD India.
Next updates from the Japan Open badminton tournament. In men's singles, Lakshya Sen brushed aside China's Wang Zhengjing to advance into the second round. Sen produced a composed performance to defeat Zheng 21-11, 21-18. He will next face 7th seed and home favourite Kodai Naraoka in the round of 16. Indian doubles pair Satvik Sairaj, Ranki Reddy and Chirag Shetty sailed into the second round of the Super 750 event with a commanding straight game. They defeated South Korea's Kang Min-hyuk and Kim Dong-ju to advance to the next round. PV Sindhu's campaign, however, ended with a straight game defeat against South Korean shuttler Sim Yoo-jin. Sindhu went down 21-15, 21-14. It was her first defeat to Sim Yoo-jin in 4 meetings. The 77th Primetime Emmy Awards, one of the most prestigious honors in US entertainment, are all set to air on 14th September this year. The countdown is over as the Emmy fraternity unveiled the official nominations list on Tuesday morning, setting the stage for an exciting award season. Sci-fi office drama Severance leads the race for 77th Emmy Awards with a whopping 27 nominations.
In what's shaping up to be one of the most competitive Emmy seasons yet, the dystopian drama Severance leads the pack with a record-breaking 27 nominations, cementing its place as both a critical darling and a fan favorite in its second season. HBO's Gritty, The Penguin takes a strong second with 24 nods, while Apple TV Plus scores big with The Studio and The White Lotus, both earning 23 nominations. The studio also ties the record for the most nominations in a single year for a comedy series, signaling a breakout moment for the streamer. Apple TV Plus tallied an impressive 27 overall nominations, including a spot in the Best Drama Series category with The White Lotus. It'll face off against Andor, The Diplomat, The Last of Us, Paradise, The Pit, and Slow Horses. Kathy Bates becomes the oldest nominee for Best Drama Actress at 77 for her role in Matlock, while 15-year-old Owen Cooper sets a new record as the youngest supporting actor nominee for Adolescence, which earned 13 nominations. The 77th Emmy Awards, to be hosted by comedian Nate Bargatze, will be announced in Los Angeles on Sunday, September 14. Shobit Chandola's report for DD India.
So that's all for this edition of DD India Live. Do let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. Connect with us on our different social media handles at DD India Live. And you can also download our DD India mobile app for quick news and updates on the go. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Tanvi Taneja from all of us here in New Delhi. Thank you for watching. Namaskar.